I went last night to see my friend Kurt, half-hour news hour. That's on the Fox News channel, Sunday nights at 10. Tape his show. I'm standing.
Do a rundown of what the show is.
It's a daily show for Republicans.
It's called the half-hour comedy hour?
It's called the half-hour news hour.
Oh, not the half-hour comedy hour.
No. They shoot it at Fox on Pico. I roll out real early so I can go to rehearsal and, like, kick it with him. And
so it's a daily show for racists.
It's a daily show for racists.
Okay.
I'm sitting, everything is like pretty low rent, and like I'm at Crafty, kicking it, eating Cheetos though. When's the last time you ate Cheetos? I ate a bag of them, and they were fucking delicious. Covered in orange something, but like all on my face, like having the best time. I'm sitting there, and there's this guy kind of like eyeballing me, but he's got like a faux Elvis Pompadour. He's probably in his 50s, kind of small, and like just kind of jittery, and like he's been looking at me for a couple minutes, and I can see him out of the corner of my eye. I'm like, whatever. I'm also seeing there's a couple guys that work on the show, and one guy's down, like they're trying to, they're working on some sort of a cable. They work on the show in some like capacity, like grips or something, work, like actual working. And they're talking to him. He's like, I don't know, I want to cut it. Should we? They're trying to do something. I don't know what's going on, but I see them like doing something. And one guy is like, we should probably let's just cut it. And he's like, do you have anything to cut it with? Do you have a knife? And the other guy's like, no. And then the guy that I'm watching is like, hey, neither one of you guys have knives? You're obviously not married. And they kind of like look at him, and I look at him like, that was kind of weird. And then I see some other people's faces like, ugh. And I see Kurt, and I'm like, what? And he's like, it's the fucking warm-up guy. It's the guy that warms the crowd up. And I'm like, oh, like, he's like, dude, he is the worst. I'm like, Neil, you mean he's the best? I'm like, what's his, and somebody else is like the makeup girl is just like, everyone is like literally like shaking their head like, this guy is the worst. So he kind of walks away, and I'm like, what's his deal? Like, we're all like whispering. Like, is he funny? The look on their faces. I'm like, was he, like, he's not topical? Like, what's, I'm like, what do you mean he's not? He's like, Britney Spears, like, how about that Britney Spears shaved her head? And they're like, Kurt's like, 2 weeks ago, he was telling a joke. Yeah, I was in a Burger King. That was crazy. NSYNC was working there. I walk up to the counter, and each member of NSYNC was at a different register. I ordered my burger, and they were like, do you want fries, fries, fries? I was like, no. He's like, dude, he said that 2 weeks ago. I'm like, all right. So I'm fucking around there. I get lost because, like I was telling you, they shoot it where they shoot the Fox football show, and I get lost in like the paraphernalia and realize that I had told myself, just keep eating Cheetos and stay near the stage because you gotta watch this guy. By the time I realize, I'm like, is he warming? They're like, yeah, the crowd's here. I'm like running to get back down to the set. I turn the corner and come into him saying, almost yelling at the crowd, come on, people, these are jokes. That's the first thing I hear the guy say.
Awesome.
I'm like, all right. He's walking up to members, like, he takes his microphone, puts it in this dude's face. What's your name? Guy says, Matt. Matt? Yeah, I got one of you on my front porch. Moose, nothing. Everyone's staring. What's your name? Jim? Snap into a Slim Jim. Okay. Next guy. What's your name? Bob. Bob? Jim. Bob? Jim Bob. Hey, I'm Jim Bob. Hey, I'm Jim Bob. I married my cousin. I'm like, this is phenomenal. Sees, hey, everybody, this is kind of crazy. Did you see the news today? Did you see the news today? They actually captured Osama bin Laden. Yeah, they find him. He was hiding behind Angelina Jolie's lips. Now, the crowd, there's people in the crowd that I'm saying, I could not tell if they were men or, I was like, I asked the guy working, like, is that a man or a woman? We were looking at this thing and we couldn't, and this wasn't like on its way to becoming something else, or this was just open-toed sandals in plastic bag. I don't know what that is. In empty seats. They caught his number 2 guy. They caught the number 2 Al-Qaeda guy, yeah. He was hiding in Donald Trump's hair.
No way.
Dude,
No way.
And no one's even like giving him anything. I'm looking at somebody who works there to be that this happens. The guy's he's in his 20s and looking at me. He's got a headstone and he's looking at me and shaking his head like this happens every week. Yeah, it was, it's a good thing you guys you got here a little after 7. I almost didn't get here. I drive a Ford Tortoise. Yeah, it goes 0 to 60 eventually.
No way.
It's cool though. It's cool. I used to drive a Dodge Neon. Do you know why they call it a Neon? Because it's so tiny. You get in it, knee on the dash, knee on the window. It's like a clown car. I get out of it. I meet girls. I'm like, hey, I'm Bozo the Clown. I'm not kidding.
Keep giving them to me.
Yeah, I was going to be late. It's cool, though. I went and got some fast food. Fast? Yes. Food? Jury's still out. Mm-mm. No! Now, they're trying to rush this because it's getting out of control, that they almost want to stop rehearsals and ruin the show just to make this guy get off. It's like, well, thanks, everybody. You've been great. You guys have been great. Not as good as last week. Trying to turn his microphone off and, like, fiddling with it. Like, really?
Oh, man.
That was your set? It was awesome, first of all. And the only thing I could think of, I didn't feel bad because I was loving every second of it, but I almost thought of, like, that guy just driving home and killing himself. That's all I could think about, like, of him literally getting in, like, an even worse car than what he was talking about, driving home in silence, and then killing himself when he got home. Just being like, this was it.
It's, I grew up...
You must have seen a few.
Several. And some of these guys were allegedly the best in the business. I mean, it's like the biggest gig in the world when you get a sitcom like that because it's every Friday night, and dudes would be there for a few years. And, like, these guys were, working comedians.
Work it out.
And they were, first of all, they were just terrible. They were terrible. And they would fucking figure out who I was. Because, like, my pops would come over and, like, say hi and, like, kiss my mom hello or whatever.
Oh, no.
And then it was just, like...
Then it's on.
I was, like, the volunteer. Like, I would be the kid that, like, oh, get up and,
Oh,
and
boy.
it was just every fucking time. As soon as, like,
Hershey Kisses at craft service.
like-
Hey, what do you want? You want to split a Kit Kat?
like, the worst. Like, the worst.
Oh.
Like, hey, it's your dad, huh? Like, just in front of the whole crowd, just asking me questions, like... Because they just, like, they riff. And so they take anything they fucking can get.
They do snap into a Slim Jim.
What's your name?
The guy's face when he said that, he didn't even know, like, what was happening. Is this your wife? Do you cook for him? Do you like it? Yeah. You're just saying that because your wife is sitting there.
Oh, man.
Oh, man.
It's so bad.
Coming back over to me, like, all smiles again. Hey. Eating Puss in Boots, like Shrek candies, popping them in his mouth. I'm like, who the fuck is Puss in Boots? I didn't even know who this was until he was like, Puss in Boots, Shrek candies. Popping them in his mouth.
So bad. So
Fuck,
bad.
man.